All right, so welcome back to, well, this isn't a welcome back. This is welcome
No,
to
it is not.
the first episode of Cold Takes, where we discuss the most unpopular opinions on the internet. Quentin is very underwhelmed to be here today, as I think we all are, but it's quarantine, so what else are we going to do?
How did you begin? This is my first question, is how did you think that this is probably, like, I understand your Twitter is...
Well, you understand my Twitter. That's a step ahead of a lot of people, so...
I don't understand it. I just know the content that you put out on Twitter. And it's...
Terrible,
what is
right?
it? No, it's just like, I guess that's where this idea for cold takes, right, comes from, because a lot of them are cold takes, but the way you say it on Twitter makes me think that they're not cold takes and you actually truly believe these. So you're kind of contradicting yourself with this podcast and then with Twitter.
Damn, coming right for the throat. Yeah, no, I usually do believe a lot of it. I think the thing is that on Twitter, I tweet a lot about music. Nobody cares about music on Twitter for the most part. I have like 2 people who like a lot of my stuff, and I'm like, y'all are the real fans. Shout out to y'all. But yeah, I generally believe a lot of what I say, even if I say it in like a jesting manner, which is, I don't know, better or worse. But yeah, so when starting the podcast, it was kind of between this and writing a book. And I felt like a book was a lot more work to be ignored. So I figured, like, if I'm going to do something that's going to be ignored, you might as well, like, make it as low effort as possible. So
there's like rough drafts for a book and everything that you got to include.
Yeah, you got to go through a book editor, and they're like, what are your qualifications? I'm like, I don't have any. So.
Meanwhile, you can just go spend $70 of money.
The beauty of a podcast is that anyone can make one, but also, like, should everyone make one?
No.
And that's where we're at. So.
No,
absolutely
not everyone should, but everyone in Grady does.
Yeah, everyone in Grady only makes podcasts and then complains about the dining halls. That's about it. That's all that I've heard.
Yeah.
I saw a post the other day that said, what do you call like the area where Grady, Tate, and MLC are? And it was like main campus and like 3 other options. I was like, why do you even have the... What did you call it?
What?
Like that area where Grady, Tate, and MLC are.
Center of campus?
Center of campus. All right. So it's not...
I don't know what I call it. There's North Campus. There's the Valley. That is basically Sanford Stadium.
So
I was always amazed how Sanford Stadium is literally the focal point in the center and the heart of campus, which kind of makes sense. And I made fun of it. I was like, this is all the school cares about. But then I was like, it makes sense.
That's why I went there. That's all I wanted to
Because it's the heart of campus, you know?
Yeah. The 4th floor of Tate is still the best views on campus because you get to see... And the 5th floor of Grady because you get to see right into the stadium.
I know we just pooped there.
It's a good quiet spot to poop. Also, the basement of Tate, the 1st floor of Tate, no one is ever there.
Nah, on a game day it's busy.
Really? All right, I haven't experienced that. Usually,
it's always crazy because there's dog walks right there.
That's true. Yeah, the dog walk is right there.
But if you go to 5th floor of MLC is different, or I guess it's 5th or 4th. It's like the 4th, I think.
Oh yeah,
it only goes up to 4.
MLC
but the top
is dead during game day.
Top floor.
I don't want to learn anything. I've seen a couple people studying.
I don't know if it's closed off. Is it?
No, it's not closed off. I've seen people studying on game day freshman year because I used to walk through, and I'm like, what are y'all doing here, man?
It's got to be like foreign exchange students, like not like doing it.
It's got to be
who don't. It's people who don't understand like what football is, man. Like who just like don't understand.
People from Chicago. It's like Luke. He woke up on Myers Quad that first day.
You think Luke's gonna come on the podcast?
Luke might. Depends on.
I'll show you how to call him in and everything if you want on a Zoom call.
Yeah, we could call him in because we don't know if he's gonna make it back safely from Switzerland. So, God, what a dumbass. But so we've been watching a lot of The Last Dance recently, and I think it's the only thing that's gotten us through the quarantine in a lot of ways. It's been really boring, just the 2 of us here. So one question that I wanted to ask is Jordan the GOAT? I know we both have some harsh opinions on this and some abrasive thoughts as far as this. And then to follow up and just get right in the face is, what is LeBron's resume to compare against Jordan? So, what do you think?
mean, I was talking with Caleb Hutchinson about this, and I realized this when I was talking to him because he's a Cavaliers fan, and he is going to praise LeBron for bringing him a title. So, like, the first thing is you have to recognize when it comes into this debate is The Last Dance. You're going to go into it with your own personal bias, and you're looking for ways to either confirm that bias, like basically confirm Jordan's the GOAT, or deny that he's the GOAT and LeBron is the best player. There's no in between. It's no one. For the debate, the way the sports are entrenched, the way sports media has entrenched this debate into everyone's mind, it's the old people or the people who first watched or came up watching Jordan. They're gonna find every single thing to justify Jordan.
Have you found yourself doing that? I mean, I know
we're because the first NBA, I didn't watch NBA growing up. And the first thing I ever had was NBA 2K11, which Michael Jordan was on the cover. And that was educational for me because I had to play an entire career path with Michael Jordan. So I was and at that point Kobe was still doing his thing. So it was Kobe versus LeBron, and then MJ was still way up here.
Yeah.
So and then seeing him just torch the legendary 86 Celtics and stuff like that against Bird, who else, Ainge, McHale, there's just a whole bunch of legendary
and his
players.
Rookie year too. Yeah,
no, it was a sophomore year.
Yeah.
Sophomore year.
Sorry.
So I mean I still, that's where I don't know, and I don't want to personally say it because I'm woke enough to understand that I have a Jordan bias. One from a personality, from for me Michael Jordan literally focused only on basketball and all these things, where meanwhile I feel LeBron's move to LA and his move last year was strictly a business move, and it was not a focus on basketball. So and that's fine, and some people are going to argue, be well, he's able to focus on that and still be better than Michael, and I was well, he might be able to.
Yeah, but he didn't care too much about basketball last season because Lakers sucked last year with Lonzo and all the management office, all the office difficulties they had. What do you think about Michael making Space Jam? I know LeBron's making Space Jam too, but do you think maybe that's an argument that Michael equally didn't care, and he had his baseball stint, and he took some years off?
Well, the thing about Michael's stint is I don't know the relationship between LeBron and his father, but no, everyone wants to be oh, Jordan quit in his heyday. He quit twice. He got tired of it. He literally had one of the most traumatic things ever happen to him. Yeah. People discount his dad dying.
Yeah.
Literally, could you imagine for 3 weeks you don't hear from your father? You still have to play basketball games. You still have to go about your career. You still have to be Michael Jordan, which he talks about how difficult it is.
I think he said basketball is the last thing on my mind. In August, a month or two before the season got started.
Yeah, it might have been no, that was on the Father's Day NBA Finals that he was talking about. But I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But from that regard, I would never judge Michael Jordan for taking literally he achieved everything.
Yeah.
And why would he's used to his dad always being there, and then finally one way, it's basically his way of honoring his father's wishes, who's now passed away. Yeah. And so we're gonna bash him and discredit him for being a human.
Yeah.
Because we just think, all he does is just wake up. He wants to play basketball. He would have so many more rings. If he actually didn't get burnt out, he's definitely got 2 or 3 more rings.
Yeah. You think he'd finish with 8 or 9 if he played that 94, 95 season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and the thing about the documentary to me is when you look at the comparison in a lot of ways, you can't really compare the early years because the league wasn't where it's at. But the best way of comparing it is that 96 to 98, when he still could have played and ended up playing with the Wizards, but could have played well into the 2000s. And at that point, the league was taking off. Kobe's in the league. Shaq's in the league. Shaq knocked him out in 90 whatever. Like, so at that point, the athleticism is there that it is today, if not in a lot of ways more. Like the league is still athletic, but the league now doesn't have a Shaquille O'Neal who came in and just bossed it up and changed the way you play the game. Like, they didn't have that. Like, Shaquille O'Neal really was, I mean, he won an MVP for the NBA Finals over Kobe Bryant. I mean, at that point, Kobe wasn't even Kobe.
Yeah.
So at that point,
it cracks me up seeing the comparisons between Draymond and Shaq and how
I don't even know about these, man.
Yeah, how people get that far out there and that upset when people are like Draymond and shit compared to Shaq. And people get really worked up about it. It cracks me up. So do you think a more fair comparison is Kobe and LeBron? Do you think that's 2 and 3 and that's a better argument to be had?
I just personally see now how much it took for basically Michael Jordan wasn't just bringing the NBA onto the scene. Michael Jordan brought the game of basketball onto the scene. And I always think that it's tougher. And I'll take this analogy from golf for the first golfer than second golfer.
Yeah.
Because, like, Kobe's literally asking Michael how he did these things. Michael had to craft this himself. Yeah. And in the same way, like LeBron, no one wants to admit it, but LeBron's stealing the same moves that Michael Jordan perfected and crafted and the league had never seen before.
Yeah.
So he, like LeBron and Kobe, both just have it. It's just, after the first people colonize over in the new world in America, then more and more people are coming and more people figuring it out. It's the same thing with running like a 4-minute mile. Like, for the longest time, it wasn't possible. One guy finally does it, and then they figure out how. So I mean, like,
copy them.
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, I just always think it's tougher for the first guy, no matter what.
I do think LeBron has changed the game, but in a lot of ways, it's
Steph Curry's changed the game. If you want to get in that topic,
a lot of that's Steve Kerr too, because you see the way he used to play for the Bulls, and then what he's brought into his manager career, and then having Steph there, like one of the best 3-point shooters of all time.
Well, I mean, Steph literally has changed the way we play the game. That's why when you go to an NBA game now, it's literally just let's just chunk up a bunch of threes.
But we can't complain because we got Trae Young. So
that's the reason why that the Atlanta Hawks literally took what's his name from Golden State, and he wanted to build the same blueprint of having a 3-point guy who can pull up from anywhere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Trey is literally Steph is causing other teams to draft and make sure that they have a 3-point guy, because you could be up on them by 12 and then 10 seconds later you're down by 6 because of just the way they're
So do you think Steph is more influential than LeBron? Because I think LeBron, a lot in his career, kind of made a lot of strides off driving through and not necessarily even scoring always, but just getting a lot of fouls. And obviously I'm not the biggest basketball connoisseur or anything, but that's just something that I've noticed. It's a lot less enjoyable to watch that style of play. But who do you think's changed it more? And do you think it's more entertaining now or less entertaining compared to the Jordan era?
I don't know. I don't want to say they're their own eras, so you can't really compare, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Where it's just basketball how we know it. It's more athletic now, and you got younger kids and you have more athletic people just in general. Yeah. And that's everyone's argument. Well, Jordan's not playing against as athletic of people and all that. But if you take that argument from 96 to 98, he was. I mean, at that point, the league was athletic.
Yeah.
You just don't have as many, I don't know.
I remember seeing on Twitter, there was a picture of LeBron could never deal with the bad boy Pistons, and it shows their lanky ass center, the
Lambeer, maybe, the white guy.
I can't. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But people want to discount LeBron's teams as if they're not good. The reason why they're not good sometimes is because he is he just soaks up all the resources and takes control of them. Yeah. You can look at Cleveland right now.
Well, I've always said people don't want to play with him, and that's where. Well, and it's not necessarily true in all of the cases, but if you're the GOAT, people are like drawing toward you. Like Griezmann goes to play with Messi. You see Brady take like contract hits so that he can have Gronk back and keep his team happy. So that's a big argument in my thing, where it's like, I don't think people necessarily even want to play with LeBron. Whereas like people bitched and complained about how Michael was such a competitor and how he was annoying at practice, but like they all stuck it out. All the people in the documentary complaining about how he was at practice, they didn't leave the team or any reason, like for any reason. Like
yeah, well, that's also gets into your differences in generations, where they're not making as much money and they don't have as much. It's not as much of a players' league back then as it is now, where now everyone thinks that they have a voice because they have Twitter and they have followers and they have fans and they're praised everywhere from college into the league. And like it's kind of like, you, for the most part, the main guys, they know from college that they're gonna be a superstar, so they gain that following then.
Yeah,
you know, like
it's gonna be interesting seeing this year with Ant-Man and like kind of a lackluster draft class, how they do in the league and what stars do come up. Because it's not like, I remember when we had 2K11 and 2K12, it was Blake Griffin and John Wall, and we're like, wow, these guys are gonna kill it. But like there's less like ever-present stars from this draft class, I would say.
Nah, I mean, those are still names though, because they were so good in college and they knew that they were going to be a top pick, that they're still, and they knew that they would make an impact in the league. Those type of guys are, they wouldn't take the type of like competition like that, or like, and Michael Jordan getting in your face sort of thing. They wouldn't tolerate that, because they know their worth. Now they're worth so much more.
Yeah.
Where they're like, I'm worth $50 million. I don't need. It's like, you know, when you make that much money, you wouldn't want to be yelled at either.
Yeah, and not everyone's worth $50 million either. So all right, we got to move on. So the next one is another hot topic in the VanHoozer household that we've discussed pretty frequently over the past 6 months since the new Star Wars movie came out. It's discussing the new trilogy. Quentin hates them. Quentin cannot stand them.
They're awful. I take the Matrix trilogy over them.
I rewatched the prequels right before watching The Rise of Skywalker, and just like, one question that I've kind of thought about the past 6 months is, where do they rank compared to the prequels? Where does the Skywalker saga, I guess is what they're calling them, rank to the...
It's not Star Wars, Daniel.
It's Disney Star Wars?
Yes, it literally feels like... man. It's like if J.J. Abrams was allowed to do Marvel.
Yeah.
That's what we got. But bad Marvel. Like Iron Man 2 Marvel.
Yeah, and honestly, you could argue that Jon Favreau is a much better director than J.J. Abrams. And I mean, not necessarily director.
Never thought about that.
He's very versatile, though. Jon Favreau doesn't put out a whole lot of bad ideas. But so, what do you think? Do you think
Jon Favreau's got Elf?
That's kind of a trump card. He just comes in every Christmas.
He's in his movies too. He's in these movies.
Well, one of my favorite movies ever is Chef with him.
Yeah.
I've always encouraged you and Mom to watch it.
Nobody
watches it.
He got a Netflix TV show because of that one about selling, because he made that one movie.
Yeah, Seth Rogen came on and was like, how do you bake like weed brownies? I'm pretty sure. I haven't watched the episode, but I'm pretty sure. Seth Rogen,
that's a guy too.
So
Stafford hates him.
He hates Seth Rogen?
He hates Seth Rogen.
How do you hate Seth Rogen? I mean, like, his laugh's annoying, but...
No, he hates him. He can't even stand him.
Like, not even Pineapple Express or anything?
No, yeah, and I was like, dude, Pineapple Express is the, like, one exception if you hate Seth Rogen.
Or Superbad. Superbad's great. He wrote Superbad, like, when he was, like, 18.
Yeah, but Superbad's alright. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a good movie. It's the funny classic McLovin lines. Yeah. But, like, you need... You know, some movies where, like, Pineapple Express, and maybe it's just my humor, so I'll admit that, like...
Oh, I love Pineapple Express.
I can watch it by myself and die laughing, or, like, at least smile and not, like, chuckle a little bit. But, like, Superbad, I watched it by myself. I'm kind of, like, half interested, but half on my phone, so it was just in the background, so it was somewhat... So, I don't know. But Stafford does hate Seth Rogen.
I don't get that. I love Seth Rogen. Alright, so do you think the Skywalker saga is worse than the prequels?
Yes.
Okay, so mostly because they're just, I mean, because the prequels aren't great, but like
No, but they brought something new to the table, in which they gave you insight into the coolest, probably the greatest villain of all time.
See, a lot of people say that they ruined him by making him so whiny and like such a bad actor. With Hayden Christensen, they said that it kind of took away.
Star Wars isn't known for their acting, though. Like, if you wanted if you wanted Star Wars to be known for their acting, they would have gotten big name actors like Leonardo DiCaprio or like people who have literally won. But they want to strive to be new and find the next new guy, and that's part of doing that. Is like
because Mark Hamill was such a hit back in. I mean, he ended up doing like pretty good stuff, but it's like
voice acting and stuff like that, you know.
But I mean, like back in the day, they had Alec Guinness. He was, I think he may have won or he was at least nominated for the Oscar for like best supporting actor.
But what movie's coming out around?
Like he died shortly after.
Yeah, I get that. But like what movie came out around then? Like I guess you're somewhat supporting the fact that like that they're somewhat known for like having good actors, but literally the only two actors I would say that are redeemable. There's probably a few actually. 4.
Adam Driver is pretty incredible in the movie.
4. Adam Driver, Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor is, I think he's the best Star Wars character. Obi-Wan is just between Alec Guinness and Ewan McGregor in the Clone Wars. I think Obi-Wan is just by far, and I think we're gonna see that with the TV series, is that he's just the best character in Star Wars.
I mean, you probably have like in one movie or in each movie, you have one like star that steals the show which is pretty good for the fact that, I mean, they have one lead star, they have their MJ, and then they have like, and then they kind of had the cocaine circus around them.
We're not gonna get too much into that.
Oh, we will. It's Carrie Fisher.
It's
totally Carrie Fisher.
It cracks me up how in her like later years, and like rest in peace, we love Carrie Fisher, but like how it came out towards the end of her career that her and Harrison Ford had a thing together. I'm like, this would have been gossip like 20, 30 years ago, but now you're bringing it up. It's like,
now they're all old, so no one wants to picture that and visualize that.
Yeah, I hope they don't CGI that if they.
Oh God,
I hope not.
To answer your point, the prequels are far superior, despite the CGI, despite the poor things. Like, what I don't understand is obviously you can't fix 4, 5, and 6, New Hope, and all that with the kind of outlier or kind of the main thing that I watch is lightsaber fights.
Yeah.
So you progress from 1 with Darth Maul and Qui-Gon Jinn.
It's very inconsistent across all 9. Lightsaber fights.
It is, and you can view it as there's no longer proper training, and that's not really an emphasis, and they wean off of having skills as warriors into having like a peace and like have the Force and be stronger in the Force. Sounds really stupid. But it's a thing to think about, like where they're able to train against like actual combat, where meanwhile Luke is literally, his only lightsaber training is against like droids or like whatever Yoda has him do. So his like the lightsaber fights aren't incredible then, but they rely more on the Force.
Yeah. One thing I would have liked through 7, 8, and 9 was they explained pretty well in 7 that they're both new students to it. I mean, like Kylo had some training in the Force and some lightsaber battles, as like what's his face says in episode 8. The guy Snoke, how forgettable he is. But he's like, you have your training and all that. I really would have liked to see more progression through 7, 8, and 9. I think you saw it in like the throne room scene in 8, but you just didn't really see it in 9, where like
the throne room was the only decent scene from that movie.
The only all right. I thought you were about to say.
Here's the problem, man. Like you have the technology. The reason why 4, 5, and 6 are limited in lightsaber fights is they didn't have the technology. And then 1, 2, 3
still push the boundaries for their
yes, exactly. And then 1, 2, 3, like you knew that you were going to get probably 45 minutes at least at one like of total lightsaber time.
Well, I remember
like you need like to base the movie off lightsaber time.
Well, I saw it when I was 6, and then I saw Dead Man's Chest and at World's End where they had these huge sword fights and the lightsaber battle. I was like, I want at least like 30 or 45 minutes of battles in every single movie. It kind of spoiled me. Like, it honestly
but like that's what's wrong for the new ones, man.
Yeah.
That's what's wrong with the new ones. Like, and I understand in the first one why you couldn't have like a long lightsaber fight.
Yeah.
But and 8, what's the lightsaber fight? Maybe
it's the throne room, and then the like fake one with Luke. That's
but lightsabers don't even touch, dude.
Yeah.
So you don't even have lightsaber time.
You need some tip touching to make some lightsaber time.
You need lightsaber time, dude.
Yeah.
And then even in 9, like by that point I was pissed off where I didn't give a crap about like any of it. I was like, even then was there a lightsaber battle?
There was the one between Rey and Kylo or Ben where it was like it was still just hacking.
Yeah.
It reminded me of me and Aiden on the playground, like hitting each other, and one of us, usually him, would just be taller and bigger and just beat the shit out of each other. It wasn't fun or anything.
It's one way to do it.
Yeah, so I'm like, it just reminded me of
Do you remember the like home video we made?
Oh, we made,
it was like...
We made a few. We made like 5 or 6.
And it was like... I'll have to find it. It was like on the digital discs. So it wasn't even SD cards. And we'd run out of memory so quickly on those things. Yeah. And
we wouldn't know it. We would just have, I guess we didn't get that far.
We didn't make it. Yeah. Meanwhile, Mom is like dropping hundreds of dollars on memory cards, and we're just like running through them.
And we're poor at this time. We were so poor. And they're like, hey, honey, like Dad's working like 3 jobs. We got to buy more memory cards so the kids can like film their lightsaber fights. It's like, you got to be freaking kidding me.
Yeah, it was. But the one that always killed me was like the old shed.
Yeah.
And then the plan, like we talked it through, and then you jumped down, and it was either you or
it was me.
And you stabbed Drew in the eye with a lightsaber, and you have on camera, and all you hear is like,
it was real because I actually poked him in the eye with a lightsaber.
Yeah, and it was like literally, we cut the camera, but you can see us starting to run.
There'd just be a paranormal activity out of all that
And then the other one was like we didn't know how to edit any videos, obviously, but watch one YouTube video and we're like, oh, we can do the Force and stuff.
I know Premiere at this point.
Yeah. At like 8 years old, Premiere didn't exist, and it was like, I don't even know. It was gonna be like thousands of dollars for the software back then.
Yeah.
But we didn't even know how to add music. So it was, so you're like, we ran like a long ass extension cord, literally from the house all the way to like, like 100 feet away. Yeah. And then we had the speaker,
we had the
music.
We had the Revenge of the Sith soundtrack that we like bought at Target.
Yeah.
And that's what we ran off of it.
Yeah. But at one point the fight, like it goes unchoreographed. And it runs past you, and you're just standing there looking at them as they're running by, and you can clearly tell that the music is right there.
So, all right, last question. Is
this coronavirus?
This is about the coronavirus. So, is it a hoax? How much are you willing to disclose your opinion on this? Because you've had some controversial ones while we've been home, where it's made me question if you're a good person, you know? Like, do you care about the safety of others?
What? Yes, I do. It's an interesting topic because nowadays, like, you can't express your political views. You can't say these things. Like, you just like everyone's gonna hold this against you for just the rest of your life. It feels like at this point, someone will dig up if they hate you that much. They'll dig up something. So you can't really say a whole bunch on the matter, but I have theories.
This is where we're at.
It's not my opinion. It's the things that, like, what else am I going to do?
Well, not a lot is fact right now, so theories are what we live off of. Share a few with us if you don't mind.
Well, one theory is Why does everything seem to happen around an election year? And why does everything turn political?
Shit, not some Illuminati stuff right there.
Just saying. And the two things that are against the person who seems to be the favorite to return.
At least in the South.
What?
He at least appears to be the favorite in the South.
No, he's...
I'm realistic. I think he's the favorite.
He's a favorite overall.
It's a bias, though, you know.
Clinton is better than Biden, and you didn't even vote for her. And now, up until this point, the people that voted for him, whatever, you can dispel this 2016 election and all that, and you can have your own thoughts on what happened with that. But for the most part, it was 50-50. And now the 50% that kind of like jumped from being on what would have been Hillary's side, or I guess Obama's side, who voted for Obama, the Democratic side, they either didn't show out, or I don't really know. Like, I don't think he's done terribly enough to like force people that didn't show up the first time to not go and vote a second time against him.
I think people jumped the gun and they're like, he is this terrible from the get-go, and then didn't wait for him to trip up, you know. Also, Dad's coming up. Dad, what do you think of Trump's presidential career?
No, it's not bad. It's not great, but he's done okay with what he's had to work with. I mean,
do you think the coronavirus is a hoax made up?
Well, I think there's 20,000 Americans and stuff who died. I don't think that's a hoax.
All right. Well, that's fair. That's fair. You don't care at all that you're disrupting the podcast or the shot or anything right now?
Oh, I'm in the middle of it?
You're right in the middle. People have a great view of your ass right now.
Oh, God.
We're demonetized from the beginning.
Sorry about that, folks.
There's a portion on YouTube
Yeah.
where it says, is this for kids or is it not for kids?
Oh, I already got rid of that check mark. I'm like,
well, it's smart because it's going to like include you in with like those weird Vine people, like the LeBrants, you know, that are like the super Christian kids.
I can't even keep up with the Vine and the TikTok, like the Clout House. Have you heard about that?
No, but I don't give a shit about it, so...
It's, I hate that people, like, if I had just been born 2 years earlier in your age group, I wouldn't have, like, had to deal with TikTok, but...
Dude, there's something messed up about your generation.
Fucking hate them, man. Like, TikTok is so...
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how they make money. That's what I'm kind of confused on.
It's about to be the life of the independent contractor. That's what it is. Like, nobody's gonna, like, work corporate jobs unless you graduate from Terry. Pretty much.
You know, I don't think we need as many people in business in the law either. I mean, and I think this virus shows it, to tie it all in. Like, I think we need more people. All right, here, this is just a long spiel about it. Yeah. We have to get back to life because there's this idea that
there was an idea.
Not Samuel L. Jackson. There's not. There was not just an idea. This is an idea in people's heads that an economy just creates.
Yeah.
It's resources, everything happens, all that.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen if we don't work.
It's a science.
And human beings are meant to work every single day.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even the whole idea of retirement is dumb to me because, like, what are you going to do? Like, unless you are physically disabled, what are you going to do? Sit around and get fat?
I prefer retirement from the age of, like, 20 to 30 when you're most fit. You know, you just graduated college. No, but hear me out because it's like, if the government is going to fund it through Social Security, at least have them fund good years of your life, not where you like are 65 and up. Where you need
that's
help
not how it works.
eating,
they want to use you. They want to use you, Daniel. Just like they want to use. They just.
But if you don't pay into Social Security, if you don't have enough, like when you are at the retirement age, then you have to keep working. And I think what you were about to say, like, they kind of work you to death, right?
Who?
The government, when they use you.
I mean, it's not the government that's like making you work.
It's the economy.
I mean, human beings have to work, you know. So even the mom the stay-at-home mom is technically working. You have to have something to do, or else like in pursuit, or else you're just a loser, like our uncles. and her family members,
Quinn's
which
had
we'll
some
get into that.
fun experiences this week with family members.
This is just going on a rant. So I'm gonna just pull it all, rein it back in about the coronavirus. I have theories about it possibly being a hoax, and I think it's going to be in the same way with the Trump and Russia thing, where how there was a bunch of like hoopla about that, and conspiracies came about that. His presidency just is a shit ton of just conspiracies in general. So why not just tack this on? This would make sense if it was Obama, or if it was Bush or anyone. Bush had the whole 9/11 conspiracy, but like if it was Obama for the 8 years and all that, then I'd be like, nah, this is like a legitimate thing. Like this is like doing that, because really all he had was just the recession.
Have you heard about the Obamagate that's happening right now? I know literally nothing about it, so I'm not going to pretend to speak on it. But apparently,
why are we talking about it?
There's a big scandal going on with like the Obama.
Is this off Twitter?
Well, no. So Senator Burr was just arrested yesterday. Apparently, I don't know if it's related, but yeah. I mean, they're still going back in scrutiny now, and Trump's like, I love all the things that are like, I'm the most unfairly treated president, and then Abraham Lincoln will be like, yo, I was shot. Like,
yeah.
But
civil times, more civil times in our life.
Sorry, but go ahead. What were you?
It's just a little too convenient and coincidental for me for it to be an election year. And for the one thing that Donald Trump had going for him was a absolutely rocking economy, not a body, rocking economy.
Yeah.
Rocking
tennis bod.
Good. And the medical side, which typically tends to be more liberal, it's just stereotyped that smarter people or the more educated people tend to lean towards being a liberal after going to universities and living in like more than northern parts like Harvard, these like top like people that you're seeing.
Yeah.
And then on top of that,
snootiness that accompanies it,
yeah, but it's like, so you have those guys and thinking this one way, like against him already, and then all they had to do was somehow get the media in on it. And they some way, I feel like some deal might have been made between the media and medical to just the entire medical field to possibly find ways to bring down the economy. Now, like, I don't believe that the virus is a hoax, but the perceived view and the public's perception on it, that to me seems. I mean, we're the only country that's having the biggest struggle with it.
Yeah, that is what's kind of crazy about it. We do have one of the best health care systems, at least you would think. Maybe that is just the media telling us that, but compared to like China and Italy and just other countries that, what's blowing my mind is that China was the foundation for all of this. They have less strict health codes. You would think it would just run rampant in that country and just, tear it apart. But they got over it pretty quickly on a fast time schedule.
They're not back to normal by no means, but in no way did have they. I don't know the numbers specifically, but we have, as of today, I believe there was 34 million unemployed people. Yeah. Which is just awful for an economy.
Did that was triple too? Because I think it was only like 6 or 8 before, right?
It was at its lowest point. So literally, that's the argument I'm making is the bias against Trump and his one thing that he had going for him. Because other than that, he's an ass. No one likes him. No one cares for him. He's unpresidential, all that. But he had people who voted for him, why wouldn't I not vote for him? He stays out of my pocket. I mean, for the most part, the tax situation, that's another debate. But he's helped the economy so much. Stocks were up. Wall Street, enjoys it. The economy is booming. Everyone's moving about. And then the one thing he had for him, because he is an ass, the only one thing that would have put multiple people back in voting booths voting for him is now gone.
So do you think this has hurt his chances or helped them? Because personally, I feel like it's kind of helped them. I mean, to me, it's a lot more reassuring to have an incumbent than somebody new who wants to shake things up in the middle of such a crisis.
I think it's just temporary enough where I think I should say, that the people behind this conspiracy that I have, that they had what's the word? It's not going to last past this year.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to, like, joke about it and all that, but hopefully by 2021, it's like, okay, it's just the new flu. Because it is the new flu.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little bit more contagious, but, like, in every way, like, it's just a new disease.
Yeah. I mean, people have said it'll be back every year, and like, there'll be
Flu's
COVID-20. It's like, damn, I thought COVID-19 was working just fine.
Get the DLC, brother.
Yeah, get the DLC back.
But, no, from that aspect, it's all going to die down after the election, in the U.S. at least.
Yeah. So just to end on a funny note, you had a fun scare recently in the VanHoozer household. Quentin was on a flight up to Chicago with our fun relative, and we had kind of a scare in the house as, is he going to bring it back, or is he going to be safe and wear a mask? Because, flying's a little bit unpredictable right now. But
that's the thing, man. Like, I'm more reassured now that that it's cleaner to fly right now, because literally, like, no one is flying at the moment.
Yeah.
The only thing that would make me feel better is if I get on a flight and they did a temperature read.
Yeah.
At TSA.
They didn't do that?
No.
They did that at the eye doctor, man. You expect it.
They did it at the gym. That's
gym
literally
and the eye doctor.
That's all you have to do, man. This is how you do it. If you're sick, stay at home. If not, before coming in, bang, shoot them. It took 3 seconds, every single person. It's just like clicking.
Yeah.
And it's honestly a good way to monitor all that. So, like, I don't know why we don't just click everywhere, but they should do that at TSA. And if you're doing that, you're fine with it.
I did it at the gym, and I had driven with the windows down, and it was a pretty hot day, and I pulled up, and they said, yeah, you have a fever of 104. I was like, I'm pretty sure I'd be frothing at the mouth if I had a fever of 104. Like, isn't that, like, where you start going into seizures and, like, panic mode starts happening? I'm like, you might want to test that again. And they're like, oh, it's 98. It's fine.
Like, shoot my arm, shoot somewhere else.
Yeah, I had to just, like, walk around outside to get the cool breeze. I was like, okay. But, so, no, tell us about your trip to Chicago. Did you have fun?
No.
Encounter any COVID cases up there?
Probably.
Why do you say that?
I mean, you know why.
Yeah, but they don't.
Yeah, so why are we talking about it like as if they don't?
Okay, so Quentin basically...
Nah.
All right.
Don't talk it like that.
How would you like to embellish the story?
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
All right.
I'm home.
Quentin made it
But,
home.
all right, I'll say it for the sake of saving you, Beth, because I experienced it and you didn't. So it's like, nom. So, going up to Chicago to help my uncle move out of his trap house sort of place. That seemed, I mean, I don't know. You gotta know him to, like, know the story to the best of your ability. And at the same time,
it might be funnier if people don't know.
Yeah, but it's kind of like one of those, if I tell you exactly what's happened in his life and who he is, you're like, dude, it's going to reflect badly on me.
Yeah.
And be like, you're an idiot. Why did you end up going up there? Which I agree. It was my lesson. I was like, why did I end up going up there?
Yeah. Well, it was only 24 hours, too.
Less, I think.
Yeah. So, basically, Quentin ended up going up and helping our uncle move out. He just had some funny encounters with some of the locals in Chicago, and he did not get his deep dish pizza, which he's most pissed about. So we're going to have to order some Giordano's frozen pizza soon.
What's Illuminati? Man, like,
Illuminati's is better, in my opinion.
Yeah, but it's not that deep dish. I don't remember it being... I can't remember. I remember it's Giordano's. I don't remember Illuminati's.
See, okay. When did you get Illuminati's? Because we didn't get it when we were up there.
No, we did.
No, we got Giordano's.
We got both.
We got both? Did we really?
Right before the Manchester United PSG game.
That's right, we did.
We met with the Hills, and then we Ubered from the stadium because we wanted to get in early.
Like right next to the park where the Illuminati's was, right?
No, it was from... it was like a bridge over...
Was it on Magnificent Mile? Yeah, it was a couple, because we walked from there to the stadium, right?
No, all I remember in the distance was seeing. It wasn't far from the stadium.
Yeah.
We called it Uber. Did we go on Uber or was it taxi?
No, we walked to the stadium I know we walked back, but I'm pretty sure we walked there also. We did a lot of walking that day.
I can't remember.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember Illuminati's though. But I feel like that was just normal pizza. That's the thing. That's why I feel like I forget it because I ate it and I was like, this isn't deep dish. Like,
Giordano's is too much to me. It like sogs it down with how much sauce is
it's a
on it.
pie.
It's a pie. It's pretty much like pasta pie. Is it good?
I've never had pasta pie.
Well, I mean, that's not a thing. That's just it's just a thing we call. It's not an actual like, oh yeah, can I go get some pasta pie? But
Yeah.
I mean, maybe $1 million idea, but
I bet it would look like coronavirus.
I am willing to bet that's not the case. I'm willing to bet pasta pie.
I saw someone that was like, I made my man some mac and cheese meatloaf, and they opened it up and split it in half, and someone was like, yo, that literally looks like coronavirus. And it did. Like, it was pink on the inside, and then it had like, just like, it looked disgusting.
Yeah.
It's one of those, man, I just got shivers thinking about it.
Dude, I don't even like cheese and mac and cheese and pasta. Like, I don't like all that shit a whole lot. That kind of all irks me. I don't know.
What? So you don't like Italian stuff?
No, I like Italian stuff, but it's like, I don't know. The heavy stuff, the Olive Garden, the Giordano's. Where
Dude, you used to love Olive Garden, so don't even start that.
Yeah, but then, like, you like Olive Garden until you go, like, any other Italian place. It's like you like Longhorn until you have, like, more than a $20 steak. It's like, okay.
All right, don't sound too yuppie.
Yeah, but Longhorn just sucks. And, like, Olive Garden's kind of the equivalent. The thing that cracks me up is people are like, Red Lobster biscuits are, like, god tier biscuits.
Don't step on those.
No,
don't step on those.
They're average, man.
No, don't step on those, man.
Those cold takes.
I mean, they're. Yeah, that's the cold takes we finally got into. So what, like, when you do this podcast, are you going to, like, are you going to propose, like, cold takes and, like, people argue about it? Or are you just bringing people on? But, like, I thought the whole point is for you to say your cold takes.
Well, I don't want to talk too much. A lot of it will be different guests discussing their point.
You have no idea how many, like, times someone has looked at your tweet. Like, I literally happened today. You tweeted something. And
what happened today? This will be a good example to justify myself.
This is a good example.
All right.
Hunter.
Hunter is Quentin's best friend, by the way.
Hang on. Yeah, so Hunter, I didn't do anything. Didn't, like, provoke him at all.
I didn't
just
even
at
think
2:55 today, 2:55 p.m. sends me a screenshot, and he didn't even he also cropped it out so I could see. Like, I knew he was gonna talk something about you.
Yeah.
It was one of your tweets that said, "Look, I get if you didn't like Stacey or just Democrats in general, but you can't defend how stupid this guy is." And it's over a Governor Kemp ad, like a paid
where ad. He's like, I'll round up immigrants in the back of my truck. I didn't feel like that one was that controversial.
No, it wasn't that bad.
So what did Hunter say?
But it's more the fact that you post this stuff, and that's an example of, like, how people reach out to me and they're like, dude, what is Daniel doing? Like, the baseball thing with the Houston Astros, I heard about that one.
Oh, well, because baseball heads are the most stubborn-ass people on Twitter.
Yeah. I probably can count at least 6 times in the past, like, 3 months, someone has reached out to me about a tweet and they wanted to, like, vent about how it offended them. And they wanted to say, dude, your brother's stupid. Like, it was Chris with Liverpool. And he couldn't even do that.
Fuck Liverpool, man.
But it's still the fact. Like, this is just helping my case.
Yeah.
Ryan was with baseball.
Yeah.
Hunter today. Hunter a couple times, really. So, I mean, I wouldn't say
I didn't know
6 people.
Konizuski had that big of a problem with me.
Your tweets.
That's
not
my
you.
tweets. All right. Well, what did he have a problem with about that one? Because, I mean, like, even if you watch that,
he said stupid. More like badass, America. No, I can't. I can't.
All right.
No, I can't. I'm not defending him on this one because he didn't even spell. He has yet to spell Stacey Abrams' last name correct. It has been Abraham.
I remember that.
And then
Abrahams.
Yeah, he also told you can move to Venezuela, where Bernie's ideas come from.
Oh my
Abrams will never be a political leader. This probably should not go out because he needs.
No, it's okay.
Can we bleep his name?
Yeah, we can. No,
I shouldn't have included that last part.
Technically, we're not able to.
We can just drop his name.
Yeah.
And then this time he wanted to say Abrahams, but instead dropped the A after BR. So it's Abrahams. Abrahams is how he spelled it.
So just tell him there's no H, and he's good.
He's got to
get over that hurdle.
He literally could care less.
Oh,
so,
but no, all right. So that tweet, if you saw it, it got like 4 or 5 likes too, which is kind of a lot for me because people normally just like this dumbass is talking again. But yeah, it's just like. If you watch the Kemp commercial, it's like I get the audience.
I don't want to talk. I didn't vote in this election because I'm not only voting for presidents at this point in my life.
That's fair.
If you want me to vote for you for school board, I'm not doing it.
That's why I did. Dad was helping somebody run for school board. He's like, you gotta go vote for him. You gotta go take care of Randy.
I did do that actually.
Yeah, he won. So you did.
But you could vote at the same time. But at the same time, you could vote for.
You probably did the primary because then you didn't have to vote for state. You can just get the Republican ballot, which his friend is on. I don't know.
I didn't understand that either. That's what's flawed about the system because he was like,
you can only get Republican.
Yeah, he was like, are you Republican or Democrat? I was like,
well, he lied to me. He said, because I wanted to vote between Joe and Bernie before Bernie dropped out. And I was like, I wanted...
You weren't able to vote in the last election. Though.
Yeah, right. So, but for this primary, I was like, hey, Dad, how do I like register as a Democrat and fix it? And he's like, oh, you can't once you register as a Republican. And then Luke's older brother, Joe, who works for the Republican Party, was like, yeah, your dad lied to you. He's like, you can 100% vote in the Democrat. Just tell him you want a Democratic ballot. And I was like, Dad, what the hell?
But why not just throw everyone in? Why not just let me pick both?
Why not do it from an app? Why do we have to go into City Hall? You know, it's 2020.
All right, well, that's where you get into Russia tampering and stuff like that. Because
that's what TikTok is. And that leads us right into next episode. So thank y'all for watching, and we're going to continue talking about ridiculous theories and cutting Quentin off in the next episode.